need to believe. Believe bigger. We need to believe, believe, believe. And I don't want to just monkey around with the word believe, because as leaders, we have to believe bigger. We're dealing with bigger, faster, stronger. So I need you to believe bigger. I want you to stop just believing. I'm preaching to you, man. I'm trying to tell you something. You're not believing big enough. You're not believing strong enough, because we can always believe more. We need to be able to believe. We need to be supreme believers. And more than just being a supreme believer, we need to be believers in people. And I'm not saying Lincoln only had to believe to free a nation. Oh my gosh, we know this man went through depression. I have. I've been depressed. Look at Harriet. Harriet, she did everything to free her friends and to do these things. Her belief structure was just to free because it was the right thing. And not that George Washington, hell, he went to war with no shoes and a dollar he threw across the river. Why didn't he keep the dollar? I don't know. And Martin Luther King, how about this guy? I mean, his belief structure was beyond all of it. But not to diminish what he was believing, his belief was only that we should all be equal. Well, hell yeah. Beautiful people. We're called to believe bigger. But let's talk about something really kind of cool. This guy here is a modern day believer. His name's Nik Wallenda. Anybody know Nik Wallenda? Amazing guy. Yeah, he walked across the Grand Canyon with no net. Now that's a believer, my friends. Oh, hey, why don't we just string the wire across Niagara Falls and sprinkle some water on it, and let's walk across that, right, with no net. Now that's a believer. And then how about this, last but not least? Why don't we just go to Chicago on a cold winter day, put a blindfold on, and walk across the 2 tallest buildings in America? That's a believer. And aren't those the 2 sexiest bald guys on the screen? So that's how we're rolling. But Nik Wallenda is a great guy. So here's the thing. Belief is comprised by fear. So what's the argument against belief? And we're going to move through this. So we are survivors. We control the fear. Without the fear, we are all as good as dead. So one of the separating things, if not the most separating thing that creates this, I love your barber too, man. You are one sexy dude. Making Peril sexy right there. So here's the deal. We control fear. We're wired differently. That's our secret sauce. Fear is the only thing that stops our belief. Negative thoughts, automatic negative thoughts. Anybody know what an automatic negative thought is? Creeps up in your mind, tells you can't do something, and we're just going to call them ants right now. Automatic negative thoughts. We got to get rid of those. Fear is those things. And if you don't believe me, let's go back and let's talk to Forrest Bondurant. Remember Forrest, the Wettest County, lawless in the movie? Here's what he says to his little brother Jack one last time. This is what Hollywood has to say.
Jack, we are survivors. We control the fear. And without the fear, we are all as good as dead.
Without fear. Somehow it's just a little better when he says it, right? We need fear. We need fear so we can control fear. If we're not controlling fear, there's no guide rails. We always be walking off cliffs. I mean, God created us with a brain and a mind, and our brain was to tell us what not to do and to have some rational sense. It gave us 2 basic fears, fear of sound and the fear of falling. But our mind was created for success, and the mind is saying, you can do this, Todd. You can do, Nick, you can walk across that wire. And his brain's saying, no, that's stupid. Why would anyone want to do that, right? So you got this constant thing going on, but we all have fear, and that's what sets us apart. That's why you're sitting in this room right now. Because at one point, you said, I can do this. You controlled the fear.